When I woke up Saturday morning to the news, the first question that popped into my mind was, why now? Have we now delegated the most solemn decision that can be made in our society, the decision to go to war, to another country? There were no objective facts on the ground that said this is something we have to do now. And I think Secretary Rubio inadvertently told the truth the other day, that this was driven by Benjamin Netanyahu. I find it very disturbing that we are committing this nation to war based upon a decision by even though a staunch ally. And we cannot protect the valiant people of Iran from the IRGC from the air. Mr. Colby, you're in charge of policy, so I'm going to ask you some policy questions with regard to Iran. When I woke up Saturday morning to the news, the first question that popped into my mind was, why now? Why now? What was the precipitating factor? And there was discussion of an imminent threat of missiles. There was discussion of rebuilding the nuclear capacity, but none of those were imminent in any way. Yesterday, Secretary Rubio told us why now. In a stunning statement, we knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces, and we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched these attacks, we would suffer higher casualties. Have we now delegated the most solemn decision that can be made in our society, the decision to go to war, to another country? That's the implication, the breathtaking implication of Secretary Rubio's statement, which to me is the only explanation I've seen as to why this action was taken when it was. There were no objective facts on the ground that said this is something we have to do now. There were no missiles being loaded on launchers. There was not a nuclear bomb being rolled out. I'd like some response on policy. Is it now the policy of the United States that we're going to be taken into a war by the prime minister of another country?
Well, sir, what I would say is, and I think Secretary Hegseth and General Kane went into this yesterday, that it was, and the president has talked about this as well, it's the very rapid buildup and reconstitution of Iran's ballistic missile, cruise missile, and one-way attack drone.
But that's been going on for some time. The question is, why was it Sunday?
Well, I think there was a perception that this threat has been manifest. As the president said, they've been killing Americans for 47 years, and this is something where we can see this is going, and they're going to be able to have with this kind of missile shield.
So do you dispute Secretary Rubio's statement? I think Secretary Rubio inadvertently told the truth the other day, that this was driven by Benjamin Netanyahu, and here we are in a major conflict. Do you not agree that that seems to be the precipitating factor?
Well, I agree with you that Secretary Rubio told the truth. I wouldn't characterize his remarks. They stand for themselves. I know he's spoken a lot. The remarks I've seen of the president's, the vice president, the Secretary of War, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, focus on the buildup of Iran's conventional missile
capability. I find it very disturbing that we are committing this nation to war based upon a decision by even though a staunch ally, and I'm a supporter of Israel, but I don't think anybody should drive our decision to go to war, but the interests of the United States.
I think the president made our decision,
Senator.
That's my understanding.
Certainly
our understanding at the Department of War. The president made our decision. I mean, he makes the decision, obviously.
Well, he made the decision, but it appeared to be based upon the fact that Israel was going to strike. And one of my questions is going to be at the hearing this afternoon. Was any effort made to dissuade the prime minister? Prime Minister Netanyahu has been egging for an invasion of Iran for 20 years. U.S. presidents have consistently said no. And my question is, why now? Let me move on to something else. I'm very concerned about the president's words to the Iranian people. In his speech the other night, in his speeches back in January, the other night he said, I call upon the Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America's with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. We cannot protect the valiant people of Iran from the IRGC from the air. There is no way that they can be protected without troops. Do you have any different understanding of that? And my concern is that we may be raising the expectations of these people that we will truly have their back when we won't, and they'll be slaughtered again as they were in January.
My understanding, and again, I wouldn't presume to interpret the president's words, but is that this is objectively an historic opportunity. Obviously, you've had the significant erosion of the most, oppressive members of the Islamic Republican government. But ultimately, I think one of the reasons this isn't an example of nation building and this kind of interventionism that Senator Reid mentioned is precisely because it is looking to the Iranian people to take the initiative. I have no question
But the
that
Iranian
it would be
people
risky
don't
and
have the guns, Mr. Secretary. The Iranian people don't have the force. It may work. I hope it does. But in this case, the risk is great, and I'm afraid we may have put these people in harm's way by misleading them about our commitment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator King. Senator Scott.
Sure. First off, Undersecretary Colby, thank you for being here. I want to thank President Trump for his decisive leadership in Operation Epic Fury. The President and Secretary Hegseth have clear objectives to ensure Iran never has a nuclear weapon, and this evil regime is no longer able to terrorize and target the American people and our great ally, Israel. We have known for decades that the only way to deal with Iran is to totally destroy this evil regime, and President Trump is doing it. I also want to take this opportunity to talk about the incredible men and women in our military who answer the call to serve each and every day. They represent the best of what it means to be an American, sign up for a cause greater than themselves to serve their country and stand for our freedoms. And unfortunately, as we saw over the past few days, answering the call to serve can come with great sacrifice. For that, we can never repay them. Our heart goes out to their families, and I ask every American to keep their loved ones in your prayers. I've now been in the Senate for a little over 7 years, and in that time I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world to meet with our servicemen and women, diplomats, foreign leaders to foster American business, prioritize national security interests, and grow relationships with our allies. Everywhere I go, I hear great things about President Trump's leadership on the world stage and the incredible support he's received from Secretary Rubio and Secretary Hegseth in advancing his peace through strength agenda. Our allies respect us and our adversaries fear us. Countries have shifted their views on national security because they now know that under this administration, standing with the United States is beneficial to our mutual security. In my recent visits to both the Indo-Pacific and Northern and Eastern Europe, I witnessed this firsthand as countries are siding with us against our enemies, investing in our economy, and most importantly, buying American weapons. I tell every government official I meet with in my office or overseas, be like Israel, Baltics, Poland, do everything you can for yourself, and then ask where your need is and what you need us to do. And many of our allies who traditionally failed to do so are starting to do just that because they know that while President Trump will hold our friends accountable to step up to the plate and do their fair share, he will never abandon them. Secretary Rubio said it perfectly in his speech at the Munich Security Conference. The president is succeeding and will continue to succeed because he believes the entire world is important to the United States and for our security and prosperity. He understands that the United States and Europe are inseparable because of our common values and civilization. And the president reaffirmed it in his remarks on Iran when he outlined the threats that the regime having a nuclear weapon would have on the U.S. and our very good friends and our allies in Europe. The president clearly understands we have enemies around the world. The governments of Communist China, Iran, Russia, North Korea. They chose to be our enemies, and they are most definitely not focused just on the region they live in. They don't change their actions simply because we try to be nice to them or try to ignore them. That didn't work for President Obama, didn't work for President Biden. It only makes our enemies bolder and more aggressive toward us and our allies. President Trump proved he is not what his critics say he is when he comes to foreign policy and military matters. He is not a reckless warmonger, nor is he an isolationist. He is someone who understands that nowhere on the planet can we say whatever happens there is not our business. Instead, he knows our world is a safer place when our enemies wake up every day, scared to death about what we might do to them, and knowing that miscalculations on their part will not go unanswered. Just ask Iran and Venezuela. Back to my travels. As I learned about in conversations with our allies in Europe and the Indo-Pacific, there is a problem. Allies tell us they want to train with us, but the Department of War ignores these requests and tells them they are too small and insignificant. Allies tell us they want to buy weapons from us. And that is what the president wants, but some of our allies have told us that the Department of War that they may not buy them, resulting in frustration not at the president, but at the failures of the process that won't let them buy the weapons we told them to buy in the first place. They've gone to other countries to buy weapons. The president and his national security team have sent a clear message to our partners and allies. Step up. Do your fair share. And the United States will, too, be selling you the best American-made weapons and training so you can use them. However, it seems our allies are getting a mixed message when they come to the department to work together and buy weapons.